We just had Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, come out and say something rather curious. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. You're going to definitely want to see this interview or speech that he just recently gave, apparently at the forum. And what he says in there tells you what they want to do in our future. And actually, we already saw one king, King Charles, essentially do something today that totally goes along with this new plan. We're going to get into that also in this video, and we're going to get into a number of other things. Palantir CEO Alex Karp, these data, centers, which are a big part of this plan, and a ton of other things. Let's just get going here. Let's start with this here. The government is preparing to seize homes and land using eminent domain for the construction of a new center in Georgia. This American's childhood home is being taken by force by Georgia Power. Homeowners in this county do not have a choice. It affects 330 private properties. Georgia Power says it will negotiate purchases and easements and use eminent domain. Georgia Power claims it's to strengthen the grid for the growing energy demand in Georgia. Or you mean these centers, these data, of course, centers? Yes, exactly. The lines are widely linked to Project Sail, a massive proposed hyperscale center campus that will span 829 acres. I've heard, was it yesterday? There was one massive project that was literally double the state's current power usage in one state. I got to go find that one. I don't even have that one pulled up. Let's just check out what this lady has to say right here.
Right here and show you guys firsthand what is happening to our county. So as you can see behind me, we have these power lines. Georgia Power is going to expand these lines to support power to the data center. What they're doing to homeowners is they're taking their homes. This is my childhood home behind me. It is being taken by force.
Bro, this is crazy. It's not even for the center itself. It's for just the power lines to it. They're taking 330 homes. Oh my goodness. That's insane. And actually, that leads into what Larry Fink was saying in a recent interview. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink declares a preemptive war, of course, against us, who fight back against his precious AI centers, warning that people could use inexpensive, drones to do stuff, become Terrys, right? Against literally BlackRock, of course, owning all of these or a lot of these. He admits that they will control nearly all the AI centers being built across the United States because the GOV cannot afford to fund them on its own. We have to relook at all forms of security. Could be domestic, Terrys using a $3,000 drone. Many more things will have to go underground. This is literally what he was saying. Let's just play this clip here.
But now, because of drone warfare, we have to relook at all forms of security. And the need for
Look at this.
the
Investment cycles. AI is at 2%. Okay.
GCC region to rebuild it so that it's going to be in a position where it's not going to be obstructed by drone warfare. So a lot of
This is literally calling it warfare. Okay. Yeah, and actually there's a lot more. We're going to get into that right now. CEO calls citizens domestic, Terrys for being concerned that they own every data, center in America. Larry Fink has revealed the quiet contempt of the financial elite in stark terms. Speaking at the Milken Institute, the BlackRock chairman openly declared that his firm and its institutional partners will effectively control the vast majority of America's new centers because the federal government, burdened by debt, cannot afford to build the infrastructure powering this technological revolution. The result, sprawling facilities consuming irreplaceable farmland, billions of gallons of water, entire grid sectors, all while ordinary citizens face soaring electricity costs in degraded communities. Then came the chilling pivot on security. We have to relook at all forms of security. Could it be domestic, Terry's, with a drone, many more things to have to be underground. Think about that. A man whose firm helped pioneer the financialization of every American asset known. Houses everything. Now frames resistance to this resource grab by citizens rightfully alarmed by blackouts, rate hikes, and enclosure of their landscapes as potential Terry's. These are not benign server farms. They form the physical backbone of emerging, control. Subsidized by the public, yet owned by the private titans, insulated from accountability. This is what we're going to get into, by the way, because we have now better understanding what some of these centers will be used for. As we had King Charles come out today, we've also had some rather interesting videos coming out of a certain country called China. We'll get into that as well. That'll show you exactly what they want to do. Fink isn't safeguarding innovation. He's engineering fortified enclaves for a technocratic future he knows will provoke backlash because the public is beginning to notice who actually pays the price. It's the time to demand real oversight. Break up BlackRock's stranglehold on critical infrastructure. Mandate full transparency and audits of every center deal. Tell your representatives to sell off America's future as now. All right, you get the idea. So let's get into some of these other things because there's a lot. Look who is joining them. This is a little strange, and it's not just Elon. Elon is traveling to China with BlackRock CEO Larry Fink and the president. And guess what? It's very interesting what's going on in China currently. And what King Charles just said today, there is no weird coincidence just going on here. It's not just a few people going there. This is absolutely insane. President is currently flying to China with all of the following people to request deals with China President Xi: Elon, Tesla and SpaceX, Jensen Huang, NVIDIA, Tim Cook of Apple, Larry Fink of BlackRock, Steven Schwarzman, Blackstone, Kelly Ortberg, Boeing, Brian Sykes, Cargill, Jane Fraser, Citigroup. Look, there's just like a huge ass list here. You got 12 people, all these companies, Goldman Sachs, everybody. The president also says there are many other CEOs joining him on the trip who have not yet been disclosed. Never in history has such a trip, even remotely near the scale or caliber, occurred. Notice what they are. They're all in the financial or tech sector. You see that? Now let me show you just some weird dots I'm seeing here. Okay. Here we have Palantir Alex Karp, who can't sit still because he might be on something. I love the idea of getting a drone and having fentanyl-laced urine spraying down on people who tried to screw us. I don't know if you want this guy running AI. You got Sam Altman as well. Guy not exactly well known for telling the truth. A lot of his colleagues of the past have said he's well known for lying habitually. Some have said he's stolen secrets from Elon in his company. You got weird things surrounding him that we've discussed in the past. All these guys head of AI. You have here what's going on in Lake Tahoe. 49,000 Lake Tahoe residents lose power to the centers, the data ones, of course. Energy redirected for AI and big tech. 49,000 residents, mostly on California's side of Lake Tahoe, are losing access to 75% of their electricity supply. After May 2027, apparently it's going to be another company that takes it over, but perhaps the prices will be going up a lot. The power is being given to these centers. This even affects the ski resorts, casinos, Liberty Utilities. Pitt buys 25% of the power from its own Nevada solar facilities. The remaining 75% come from NV Energy, Nevada's main utility. NV Energy notified Liberty it will not renew the contract after May 2027, citing its own resource needs driven by massive data. So this is interesting. He actually mentioned it here. Yeah, he did. Okay, so he did mention the fact that it's switching over. But what's going on is it's going to be a bottleneck, it looks like, for those residents there. This affects a tourist area with ski resorts, casinos, 28 million annual visitors. Northern Nevada has become a major data hub for companies like Google, Apple, Microsoft. They use 22% of Nevada's electricity. In 2024, projections suggest up to 35% by 2030. 12 new projects could add 5,900 megawatts of demand by 2033. You get the idea. You see how it is taking over entire areas, draining the electricity, raising costs, everything of that nature. New Gallup poll, 71% of Americans opposed these centers being built in their area when people know what is best for our communities, yet both parties continue to ignore what we want and do what the rich donors want. It means we need a new system. Right? So then we got what's going on with King Charles today. My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of this new ID. And this ties into what's going on in China and this meeting in China. Check this out.
We'll also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
Really? Well, they do that in China. You want to go see what they do in China right now? Why all these people are going to China right now? Perhaps that's why they're going. Why do you have 12 major CEOs and those not even disclosed, other CEOs, all going to China with our president currently? All in the tech and financial sector. Why would they be doing that? What's going on in China? I'll show you in a second here. Okay, let's just check out a couple other things. Here we have Alex commenting on this.
My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
The king talking about unified everything, getting all of our data in one centralized location on everything that we do, everything that we know, so they can bring in central bank digital currency.
Trump's been fighting that overall, wanting decentralized.
Yeah, he said we will have no central bank digital currency in America, right? So
or is he still? I hope so, but it looks kind of weird how he has all these people with him going to China when I show you what's going on there.
what did the king say there? See, God hates centralization of government. Case in point, the Tower of Babel.
Yep.
Yeah, when that thing was being built, they built this big, huge, massive edifice to get closer to...
Right, exactly, the Tower of Babel. And, of course, we've seen some of the buildings they built, like in the EU. Looks literally like it, like the Tower of Babel. Here you have someone who might look a little familiar. The Hillmeister. Since Russia's clearly backing, of course, the Republicans, why don't we get China to back us? Oh, you're going to see why China's being talked about in a second here. We'll get into that. Let's just watch this.
You know, the only other adversary of ours who's anywhere near as good as the Russians is China. So why should Russia have all the...
Yeah, so that's interesting because, of course, your husband helped out with making sure our jobs went over there. Thanks to you and your husband. They obviously helped out quite a bit with regards to that. You got here what's going on in China. Let me show you this. This is pretty interesting. If I can get it to stop. It just won't stop. Can you stop? There we go. Once you are blacklisted, of course, on their system, you can no longer do online shopping because all online shopping sites require a real name to log in. You need to make payments with digital wallets, Alipay, and WeChat. Now, let me explain something. What happened about 4 months ago in the UK? They had their Online Safety Act. The Online Safety Act supposedly was to protect minors online. We got to protect them, but then they didn't use it for that, did they? From what we can tell, they just wanted your name to be attached to an account when you logged in online. Why? Because then if you say something they don't like, they can come into your house, knock on the door. You said this. You see what I'm getting at? People getting arrested for, of course, posts. Now they're entering into these new IDs, which they use in China already. And in China, if you do something wrong, like you run a light, you violate some law, your social, score goes down. Let's play this, and I'll show you actually some really ridiculous versions of this in a moment, because it's going to be far worse than you realize. Let's check this out first, though.
Leo Hu recently tried to book a flight. He was told he was banned from flying because he's on the list of untrustworthy people. Leo was a journalist who was ordered by a court to apologize for a series of tweets he wrote, and was then told his apology was insincere. I can't buy property. My child can't go to private school, he said.
Now, you see what's happening there? You hear what it said, what they said? You said the wrong thing online. Does this sound familiar? It sounds just like what happened in the UK, doesn't it? Now, let me show you something else. This is also China. In China, you can't leave your apartment compound if you don't have your digital, passport. Check this out. And it has no audio. It has like some massive loud song on it. As you can see here, you have to literally scan to leave the section of the city. So you've heard of those 15-minute, cities, right? They section off the city like this, and you can't go to different parts of the city if you don't got the digital, of course, ID. And if you made a wrong comment online, or you ran a light, or you didn't wear your helmet while riding a motorcycle, which is what happened to one of these guys in one of these videos, you get docked a point, you get fined, it's immediately taken from your account because you got digital money. They just immediately have access to all your money too, apparently. This is what they want to do in your country. This is what they're starting to try to do in the UK. They want to do it everywhere. This is what they're trying to do. Why is our president taking all these people to, where is it at? I don't even know where it went. Got it around here somewhere. Goodness gracious, here it is. All these CEOs. Why is he taking all these CEOs to China? What the hell? See what I'm getting at? Yeah. So, at any rate, I think you get kind of the idea of what I'm getting at. And we're going to get into actually more over my other channel. I kind of want to know what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.